frequency trying to find a gap that wasn't being occupied. So there you go. There it is on frequency. And I'm on the LG300, just for the avoidance of doubt. Les, you started off about an 8 on that last over. You finished up about a 9, so your signal was coming up. And obviously the skip is fairly long. Trevor is good 5 over 9, maybe a little bit stronger now. And that's why we were getting problems. We're coming in quite well, but okay. I thought it must be something like events that explains it. And let's on the pre-over, the carrier that I almost on the noise line. Well, I shall have to join you guys. Shall have to alter our weekly workload, so to speak. But it was a shopping and lunch day, and not a brilliant lunch either, I might quickly add. Just trying somewhere else out, and I was not too interested. So let me put it round to you, Ray. Okay, on the email, Ray. Took you a while to pick that one up. It doesn't quite look like that now, Ray. It's a lot shinier. All the patina. PD, M1 PVC.
moment. Conditions have been pretty awful. I knew Paul was there. I could hear Trevor intermittently, but signals improved dramatically from about 5, and Trevor's a good solid 5 and 9, as is Paul. So much better than earlier on. I'm on the Bendix, the TA12G, and the B2348R. I keep constantly looking on Google to see if there's any decent YouTubes for the Bendix, but there is a foreign Spanish one which is literally only about 20-30 seconds. Some of the other airborne kit, there's some really good YouTube clips, but seems to be very few on the Bendix, which at the moment is a bit, as I say, I'm trying to find out all the info I can on the Bendix. There is a good on the Bendix 12G and the Mosquito. I think it was either an Australian or on that, but it's a bit scarce otherwise. Anyway, I think I handed it round to Trevor, so round to you, Trevor, with Paul, in case Martin's around, and it's coming up for Brian's time as well, I think. So I'll try Trevor, PM3, give Brian a number, over.
Yeah, 2E0 IBN TA3BH, coming up nicely now. It's well above my noise level, and just even doing everything 100%. Yeah, okay on the Bendix, well, it's sounding very well. Yeah, I keep saying I want to put mine back on the air as well, but that's down in the basement, and I'm in the garage at the moment. But yeah, I think the rest clear. I think I referred to poor modulation the last time, so what I need to do in the background, got it all set up to do that, is to put a signal generator in and to see what signal strength, what signal is needed just to modulate it to 100%. I don't know if it's the microphone or the set itself, but one of these days I'll put it back on the air. And it's very interesting tale about it. I've collected lots of information about it, and I have started just going through what I put together a while ago to see if I can send something to you. I don't think there's still many of them in the States, because I don't think they were in any American aircraft. I think they were mainly produced in Canada for an American design. Pretty serious, in fact. That sounds reasonable. And I think because of that, the only place you found them being dumped was in the UK. So there's plenty of them around in the UK. So it seems they all seem to be coming out of the woodwork at the moment. But I think we probably know at least of half a dozen which are on the air even. So it's doing a little sense, and good that you've got yours opening there, Les. Morning to you, Ray. Good night signal, and okay on the winding down, if that's possible at all. And no doubt when finally you do reach around, I think you'll find you're even busier. I think everyone says that. But I didn't think you were anywhere near retirement, because a month ago when you were telling us how old you were, it seemed like there was many, many, many years to go, so I'm not quite sure what the story is there. Anyway, nice day at the moment. I think the rain is still over the UK and all its way here, so we've still got 1 or 2 nice days to come yet. Over to you there, I think it's back to you there, Paul. M1PVC, PA3BOH, over.
PA3BOH, M1PVC. Well, I'm afraid the myth of Ray's age went out the window when he told us his mother was in her late 90s. So that rather altered the clock a little bit, Ray. Anyway, okay on that. But, Ray's enjoying himself, so, I can understand retirement not being which we say top of the list, but nevertheless I never regretted it. I'm sure Ray won't when the time comes. Finding get a bit of flying in on alternative ways. I liked your comment, Ray, a while back when you said that you thought you would retire because you were fed up with people trying to kill you. Did choose the or hit the chuckle spot. Okay with the Bendix, and yes, there seem to be on the surplus market both the TCS and the Bendixes were freely available from the surplus suppliers. Converting them up to present day values, they were affordable, but still not as cheap as one thinks they were. But nevertheless, there they are. And of course, Trevor, you're trying to use the original power supply modulator, and the only one that I know that I hear on air doing that is Ian. But his original power supply modulator, the microphone transformer, was open circuit, so he's linked that out. He therefore tends to drive it with microphones straight into the first stage grid, and I think in that way he's got a better choice of microphones, so he can get better mod, and he certainly gets excellent mod from his one, but of course you're on your own with a microphone transformer. It was designed for a carbon microphone presumably, and you've got to get a microphone that's going to give it sufficient drive. But anyway, that's the only change on whatsoever, providing the thing is working okay, and the valves are all up to spec. It should be okay. Ian certainly does the business, no problem at all. And yes, a lot have come out the woodwork in recent times. There was a time when Ian's was about the only one you heard on the BMARs, nets, etc. But then I got one, and Keith got one as well, and they all started coming out the woodwork, and they do a grand job. Certainly they're a good transmitter for this frequency, because their lack of frequency agility, as it so happens, doesn't matter if you're only going to operate on one or two frequencies. Yeah, that was a comment I was going to make. It's gone totally out of my mind, as things normally do. The power supplies on the domestic receiver. Yes, I've got lots of bench power supplies, so I was able to power it up. Ray, you can connect a couple of the HP lines together anyway, and drive it from 120 volts and 60 volts. You don't need the 90 volts, so that made it a little bit easier. But I have since built a power supply, and the devices that I've got quite a lot of are LM783Cs. They're the same as a LM317, but instead of the bipolar output transistor, they have a MOSFET in them, and they will work up to 125 volts. So I started off using those. However, I have actually finished up with a string of Zener diodes to produce the necessary voltages, because the current requirement is so low, you can get away with that, and I've got a lot of 3 and 5 watt Zeners of various voltages, and I've just put a string in. On the top, I have used an LM317, but as I say, on the main high voltages, I had a nice toroidal transformer, which I was allowed or able to connect windings up in phase and anti-phase to give me an HT of about 150 volts, and I just simply dropped that down on the Zener string. So very simple, and haven't tried it on the rig yet, but certainly does its business working it on the bench as far as current ratings and voltage stability goes. Probably a lot. Right, keep it going round. Goes to you, Ray. Hope your lumberjacking went well. You kept out the kit. G3VTD, M1PVC.
He's a lumberjack and he's okay. Yeah, from G3VTD. I watched that on YouTube. I'd forgotten some of the lines. I wondered what you were on about yesterday when you were talking about eating scones. But when you watch the clip, very, very funny clip actually. Michael Palin was certainly the man to deliver that with his facial expressions. Towards the end, when all the very proud Mounties were sort of sat there, full of themselves, and then they realised what he was saying. I thought that was magnificent actually. A good reminder. And typical Monty Python humour. It was followed up by some cheese shop sketch, which went on a little bit but was quite funny, and how John Cleese remembered all the names, the different cheeses. The basic premise was he went in for some cheese and the bloke didn't have any, and everything he had, everything he asked for, the guy couldn't deliver. But I'll not labour that one, but that was very funny. Okay, on the TA-12s, yeah, they certainly put out a very nice signal. Les, it's transformed your station, really. I didn't have anything against the green stuff, but the audio is so much better on the Bendix than the military stuff. Very compressed and very communications quality, but the TA-12 so much nicer to listen to. Okay, the mic transformers, Paul, well, I had one of the 19 set ones go open circuit, and I think they're at least 40 or 50 to 1 or something like that, the turns ratio. But I was able to find where the solder or the flux had eroded the wire and repair it. Bit of a delicate job, but got it sorted. And looking about the 6,000 hours. Well, in total I've done over 6,000 hours now, so it claims 6,000 hours of people trying to kill me. And they haven't succeeded yet, but in terms of age, the biblical quantity springs to mind. I think that'll fit in much more with a 99-year-old mum. And I only look 40, but there you go. Well, I did when I was 40. I only looked 40 when I was 40. A few decades since then. Okay, about the power supply and the devices. The one I used for the high voltage side, Paul, was a line output transformer, the old BU508, which is very common. And that would handle up to 1 kV or something like that. And I had a few of those left from the TV servicing days, but there was a plethora of devices for the low voltage stuff, and I found it very easy to put together a power supply for the 38 set, producing the low voltage for the filaments and the rather low voltage for the HT, and surprisingly low on some of these old pieces of kit. And very simple to produce a series pass regulator that would produce the HT. And there's plenty of devices about that are capable of doing these jobs nicely, aren't there? And as I say, some of the finished products from China are incredibly cheap and very easy to use. A supply in and a supply out, and a preset with all the necessary bits on a PCB. Anyway, all signals are good. Nobody's struggling with nobody this morning, which is very, very nice. I noticed yesterday the sort of propagation was two-way really. Good up to West Yorkshire on some signals, and they were virtually non-existent on the WebSDR, and others were very good into the WebSDR and not very good on the direct path. So it was quite noticeable, the different footprints of the different signals, Brian especially. So I don't know whether he's got out of his silk gems this morning, but I'll push it back around to you, Les. You were holding up quite nicely on the last over, and then we'll see if Brian's managed to drag himself out from the sheets. 20 IBM with a SG3VTD.
Ray. Private 9 now. Private 9. Good morning to you. G4LJC.
Yeah, welcome the cow then, obviously.
Yeah, okay, put it round you in a moment.
Andy, and you can put it onto Ray G3VTD. And yes, Brian, you put it to the right person anyway. It was my turn. I'm a little bit high in frequency. We did have a bit of a digital over the top of you, Brian. And yeah, the unsocialite has been a feature of the last couple of weeks actually. Always comes up on the same frequency, so the notch filter always takes him out as far as I'm concerned. And there you go. Seems to think that it's a great thing to do. And as others have said, well, wasn't that funny? Anyway, as I say, not stopping readable whatsoever. All copied from you, Les, all copied from you, Brian, with the exception lost a little bit of yours, Brian, because of the digital signal, which we get from time to time. It came up a little bit stronger than you, so it's a bit more challenging conditions today. Brian, you were about an 8 with me. I've got about 6 to 7 noise, so that's no great problem, with the exception of the unsocialites. But there you go. As I say, I can deal with them in the main, but I can only deal with them one at a time. What I could do with is a receiver that had 3 or 4 notch filters. One is good, but more would be very welcome with the sort of caliber radio hams that we seem to have these days. Anyway, we've got a lovely clear band, so there's plenty of room for anybody genuinely want to operate. So if you're seeing up carriers coming up here, they are the disruptive element, and there you go. And I think, guys, we should just ignore them. The more we talk about them, the more they'll do it. Let's go back to the good old RSGB of totally ignoring them and just getting on with it, because they don't really distract us any great deal. So there you go. Well, yeah, okay, on the high voltage transistors, well, I've got plenty of those at Ray, but I didn't need to use them because the power requirement, as I say, the whole set is only drawing a few milliamps, so there was no need to make a power supply that could produce amps, so to speak, so Zeners could deal with it. Current rating in the filaments, and they're 450 milliamp at 2 volts, so even that's not very much, well within the capabilities of the 317. And like you, I've put diodes I did have some, but I gave them to Keith, and he's quite welcome to them. But there you go, anyway. So I'll put it round to you, Andy. And Andy, you can put it on to right. G40JY, good signal on calling, M1PBC.
Yes, M1PBC, good G40JY, yes, good morning everyone, just in the shack, so not sure who's on, I've heard the tail end of Trevor, and with a reasonable signal, Brian very hard to copy with the Fulton J signal, and yourself there, Paul, 5 and 9, so quite a good signal there. So not sure what yesterday, but I'll work yesterday, so we have to go. Anyway, some on the ART13 and the ARA
fairly thick cloud. You're probably missing most of it down in the south of England, because it's sort of travelled across from the Swansea area through Yorkshire and out into the North Sea. But my company very, very noticeable change in a little bit of rain come forward. I was out yesterday continuing on again, halfway down the tree. It's time for the chainsaw now. Been out for some time, and it probably needs a bit of a the small CC engine, so it's not one of those that would viciously kick back. But all the techniques of cutting in a way that the hole opens up, all the usual safety factors I'm going to try and employ, but no doubt it will be a health and safety guys problem if they came to see it, but it's going to come down, and I shall do it very gently and very carefully, and make sure that it's taken down a little bit by bit rather than a great big one-off job. Down to about 50% of all the branches off that had leaves on them, large pieces left to go through with the change. I'm just thinking about a cup that I've got in the kitchen. Actually, there's a lovely phrase on top of there, and it says, the older I get, the better I was. I'll repeat that in case the QSB took me out. The older I get, the better I was. I think that's a wonderful maxim. And in relation to work, not bad when I do finish, Paul. I don't need to do it for financial reasons, but you get involved with people in various parts of the training and see them sort of finished off. Thank you. Rain come right up to a 5 and 9 now with nice audio, so conditions dramatically changed in the last hour to what they were at 0650. Good morning, Andy. 5 and 9 down from... And good morning, Brian. G4JC. And not quite as slow as normal, but perfectly readable all through, Brian. Weather here is pretty grey, quite cool now to what it was. But don't remind me about the chainsaw, Ray. I started last week doing a bit, knocked it off after about an hour or so, and got to go out and start chopping up some of the sort of wild birches that seem to spring up and everywhere. They grow so rapidly, and then after about 6 or 7 years, they get some sort of rot and start to fall over. So I've got to start clearing them a bit. But always very wary of chainsaws. I know they've actually got carbon fibre reinforced trousers now, but haven't got any of that kit. I just put the old ear defenders on and a visor and go ahead like that. It's certainly a tool which has to be very carefully monitored and watched. Right, I think it goes round to Trevor, BA3, BO8, the part of the over you didn't hear. I was going on about the Bendix. I'd be very interested in reading the piece which I think you'd written Radio Bygones, and I think you had signals, but there we are. Anyway, PA3 BO8
Yeah, 2 IDNP. It's okay there, maybe this is something I wanted to use. I did start it a long stream there when I first got my center, a long time ago, collected loads of information, and the articles got longer and longer and longer, and I kept collecting more and more information, and that's always a problem. Sooner or later you've got to stop. But what I might do is just take the first half of it, which puts it into perspective, and get that back to you. One of the things which is very interesting is the fact that since it was an American set in the British plane, they had to adapt the thing so that it could use British headsets. And the thing I found the most interesting was the whole range of station boxes which were made to accommodate all the different let's call them stations where the crew sat. So that's quite interesting. And I think that was what boxed down a little bit. I've got quite a few of those boxes here which are all very interesting, and even one of them was made in Hollywood, and it's got Hollywood stamped on it, which is where Bendix made the radios, that part of the world. Anyway, enough of that. Yeah, the rain, we've had a little bit of rain here, and the grass is beginning to turn green again. How about that? Later with the yeah, I've got a cut of 11 hole there, been on for a while now. Conditions were not so bad to start off with, but the traffic signal just now very, very strong for this time in the morning, and that's the same for the others.
Yes, I'm Trevor from Q4L. You're running around the 5.6, but perfectly Q5 all the time, no problem at all. I'm over. Andy, who is 5 and 5 at best with deep QSB, and Ray's signal started going down now, but he was previous over to his last one, he was 5 and 9, and now he's running around the 5 and 6. And Lev has come up. You come up to a good 5 and 9 now, Lev, and just a little bit over. So the range of skippers changed. Gone from longer to shorter, I guess. Is going by those results that I've got there. Yep. Well, there you are. I think you're probably right, Paul. We shouldn't mention anything that happens on frequency, and but it's hard sometimes because it's so I just don't understand it, Paul. Anyway, there we are. They need knee tapping or something. I don't know. Anyway, there we are. Not a lot to report from this end, and I've done nothing radio-wise, both operating and or head-in equipment trying to sort problems out. There's plenty I should be doing, but I haven't got round to it. I haven't felt like doing it. Certainly not this summer, not since Easter anyway. I haven't really felt terribly well since Easter. I had one good result yesterday, Paul. The specialist surgeon that looks after the prostate problems said that when they did the MRI a couple of months ago, they've seen nothing untoward there. I've got to see him in 4 months' time, and I'll take it from there again. But they're not seeing any things untoward except my very high PSA count. So he said, don't worry about it, whatever it is, Mr. Leliva, it's not of any great importance. So there we are. I don't really know who I should be putting it to. Maybe it is you. I don't know. Been sort of distracted this morning. I had to go and get some milk, but I've been distracted with other things at the moment happening in the house here. So around Paul, M1 PVC GU4 LJC with the group.
GU4 LJC, M1 PVC.
Now you're putting it to the right person, Brian.
That's the correct order. And your signal's come up now. Distance is reducing.
It'll be interesting to see what signal Andy
Puts out when I put it round to
him. Good morning to you, Andy. You were top of the shop at about 10 over 9 with me. You know, it just goes to show that the skip at that time was longer, and the other stations all kept about 5 over 9, which I've got for everybody now, apart from you, Andy. So the propagation's not tellingly very nice, but it's good enough. And yes, I think it's the right policy there, Brian. I could write a book about why they do it. I'm sure most of it is their own inadequacy and jealousy, and sometimes they don't know what to talk about, and they don't seem able to. And sadly, I think the society that a lot of us on this group belong to, and that really does make me, if indeed it is people from that list doing it, and I've got no proof, that's just a suspicion. Anyway, keep very quiet about it, because as I say, I think it only... This was pointed out by Keith some time ago, who is a good stalwart in good radio procedure, and I think it is the right and only policy, and they'll give up in due course. So let's just leave it there, guys, as far as that goes. 7-3 to you, Trevor. Hope you have a good day. There was going to be a grass cutting day here today, but that's not going to happen. It'll have to be put off to tomorrow because we've got quite a lot of rain forecast today. The grass hasn't grown very much, but it's not growing softly. Where I've been putting bird seed on the ground, I've got some strange stuff growing up there, and I better hack that down before the police come calling HI. I don't quite know what those plants are. And okay with the chainsaws? Well, yes, they're a particularly nasty tool. A lot of machine tools are nasty, Les. You just have to learn to respect them and use them properly. And hand tools are particularly nasty because they can run away with you if you're not careful. But
Yes, health and safety, Kevlar chainmail protection is recommended, but for the like of the do-it-yourselfers like us, it's hardly worth the expense when you've only got a little bit of work to do. You just take a bit of extra care, and even the professionals get caught out. We had a classic case a few years back around here where a professional tree surgeon actually managed to behead himself. Would you believe it? That couldn't have been nice for the fellow that found him in that state, that wanted the work done, but there you go. They need a great deal of respect. ART13 sounding very good indeed, and okay for your trip to Belfast. A long while since I've done that. I used to fly in and out of Belfast on Vanguard, so that's how long ago it was. The Grove Airport, yes, I've done a lot of work on the Grove Airport in those early days, but we got out before the trouble started, and now they've finished HI. G4, OJY, M1PBC.
And G3YJO, very good morning.
From G4OJY, yes, good morning, Martin. I'll bring you in next. Yes, all okay there, Paul. Yes, well, the Army Air Corps still flying around furiously from Aldergrove, so in fact I flew with a lad who'd been in the Army Air Corps, and I said I thought we were at peace with that particular group, and he agreed that they were just actually keeping current flying wise, but not too sure on that one really, but they do seem to be doing lots of flying. It's every time you go over there, there's at least one fixed wing and the odd helicopter flying around there. And yes, okay, on the chainsaws, it's not a tool I have. It would be useful, but I don't consider it to be compatible with my job, so I tend to get the pros in if I need to put any major bits of trees down. And yes, okay, on the Bendix stuff there, discovery is still listening, being made over in Hollywood. Well, quite a couple of my Bendix bits are actually made in by Welsh Gardener, so I don't know where they're based. The R810 has a Welsh Gardener sticker inside it. This Bendix TA12, that's made by the Northern Electric Company. So I'd have to look up and see where they were based. So I think lots of stuff was built under license there. Signal-wise, struggling with you, Brian, but getting you on the WebSDR, and Ray not too strong with me, and not too strong on the WebSDR either, so I think you're probably in the midpoint really between us, and propagation isn't too good to either of them. Right, on to you, Martin. A very good signal on the call-in, so I guess it must be the 53 set, and then if you can pass it to Ray. G3YJ on the group, G4OJY.
G0TBI, good morning.
And G0TBI, let me write that down, TBI, and then you can pass it on to Ray. G3VTD, write that down as well. Well, very good morning to everybody. Signal's not quite as good as yesterday. Paul, you were 10 peaking 15 over 9, and Andy, you were around about 9 plus 5, and I wasn't looking at the meter when you called in, Stuart, but a good signal, and heard you on yesterday evening. I was working, had to prepare something for my travels this weekend, attending a conference in Qingdao, the place of the famous beer, Saturday, and off at lunchtime today. So I had to prepare something, and took longer as always, and so didn't finish till about 1 o'clock. It's a bit late on parade this morning. Yeah, all knows about chainsaws. Yes, I think I use an electric chainsaw primarily because those things are a bit easier to control. They don't have the power, so generally speaking, when you're cutting up stuff, if they do jam or something, you do stand a chance, or kickback, you do stand a chance to control it, whereas the petrol ones are more powerful, and I think those are the ones that produce the rather ghastly accidents if you're not careful. Of course, electric ones also can be pretty hazardous, but if you take care, then they're a bit more controllable. Ireland, well, I also went over there before the Troubles in uniform, and I'm not sure I would have been able to do that a few years later. I remember going over on the boat, but interesting times. Right, on the S, as you guessed, Ray, on the wireless at 53 this morning, just switched it on. I thought it'd be a bit easier, and actually yesterday conditions don't seem to be quite as good as yesterday. Yesterday was very nice. Nothing else to report, so let's put on to Stuart. G0TBI, G3YJO.
Yep, okay Martin. G3YJO. Just pausing for a second, check my config. All over the place for some reason. Hang on a minute. Frequency counter. It's all dancing around all the place. Hopefully I'm on frequency. I didn't settle down in the front. Front of the frequency counter, but she's dancing around. Normally she's rock steady. You're in that strong market actually. You're only about 5 and 8 sort of thing. Although it could be my dicky changeover switch. I think it's the switch, you know, that denies the edit stone the good receive capability. I've got to swap things over when I've got time to do it, but I'm back at work today, so having been off for a week and a bit, almost 10 days actually, so got to go and do a bit today. Now when you heard yourself there, Martin, I think Andy handed it over to you, and I heard him briefly, but not long enough to give him a report. But I'm just going to go to G3VTD. On the T1509 this morning, and I just can't understand why that frequency counter is not rock steady. I'm pausing in speeches, but it's not doing anything. Anyway, it might settle down in a minute. Over to you, Ray, G3VTD, G0TBI in the group.
Nevertheless, you need to, everybody's coming to treat them with the greatest of respect.
Martin. I wondered about the electric ones, Martin, if they were less of a problem. I would think they are less of a problem. One can still run into problems with the blade spinning, obviously, but in terms of things like kickback, I think it's more of the more powerful ones that are used on the industrial basis that have the serious problems with that, but I'm not deluded to the fact that mine can't possibly do that, but I think with it being such low power, and I've seen it stall the engine on numerous occasions, I feel a little bit safer with that, but I'll be honest, I'll be glad when it's down to the ground, and I shan't be using it with tremendous confidence. It'll be with trepidation, but the branches aren't that big, and they are sort of sloping, so if I cut in a way that they'll fall to the ground and open up the cut, it should hopefully prevent any forms of kickback. So, on that, gentlemen, I'll wish you a very good morning, and I'm going to pass it round to Les. I think Les is still in the loop, and listen once round, then I'm going to get some breakfast. 7-3s, and thanks for the QSL. 20RBN G3VTD.
CU4LJC signing out for Corns Lakes. Very good morning to Stuart, who was 5-9 plus 20. Very, very strong, Stuart. And good morning to Martin, who was 5-9 plus 10. 7-3s all go for breakfast.
Both 5 and 9 on the last deliveries. Have I got the frequency, Paul, over?
Yes, you have. Go ahead and then pass to me.
Trevor's gone, so 7-3 to Trevor. I'll sign out now because I've got to go up the feed store to make sure the horses have got breakfast, and